Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
"26 of the best open-wheel drivers in sim racing come together to compete for the Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing Series Championship and the $10,000 grand prize that comes along with it. In 10 weeks' time, we find out who walks away defeated and who walks away a champion.
Three rounds in and round 4 has now met its place. We are at the home of European open wheel. This in Towcester, Northamptonshire, England is Silverstone. There is no track like it. It is the airfield that can, and it's the airfield that will. This will take all the skill to take a race victory around this place today. Your Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing Series finds itself with a really important dilemma to address as I, Jake Sperry, am joined, of course, with Kenneth Bueno and Joey Atterbury for the ride here today. It's an incredible moment, Kenneth, in terms of what makes this season so fantastic. Championship as tight as it can possibly be and unpredictable from minute 1 to last.
The magic number, Jake, going into this race is 7. That's the point differential between your top 3 in the standings. Florian Lebigra captured his 2nd win of the season last week at Texas. And as we head into Silverstone, back to the road courses for almost the rest of the season and the year, we're going to have a lot of challenges on our hands, especially this one. There's no elevation change here at Silverstone, but it's very technical, and it's one that was for the ages in 2021. Should be the same this time around in 2023.
Joey, they say this circuit is the gold standard when it comes to how you build a track and how you design one. We're going to take a look at where we stand in terms of this championship, where we've been, where we're going next. And you look at where we are right now, it is Circuit Park Zandvoort, which is coming along in 1 week's time. Brand new scan to the service. But then you've got penciled in the Motor City Detroit Belle Isle.
Well, we just came off our first oval race of the year, and Jake, you hit the nail on the head. The 4 out of the 5 FIA grade 1 track, but Detroit is that giant ball, the street fight thrown into those.
Well, this is where an incredible moment is going to be found. Who is going to stand on the footsteps of giants? This is how the championship looks. Florian Lebigra, 2 race wins to his name, but of course, penalty points have been applied. He's got a 3-point lead over David Toff and the Arnage competition car in second position. Tie then the third between Michele Costantini and then Gail Valero, who is there in 4th position. And really, Kenneth, you would say at this point in time, you're looking down that top 10, top 11 even, you would say, there are 13 drivers who are within a race win.
It just tells us, Jake, that there's no clear runaway favorite, and that's great. I mean, it's mirror image of 2021 where we had a super tight battle for the championship. We're seeing that continue, and I'm certain that at Silverstone we might have some more shakeups, Jake, that could elevate the intensity in terms of the points. Might bump some drivers up, bump some drivers down, and as we look at the stage for this afternoon's race, Jake, it's our second trip to Silverstone in series history. We were back in 2021 here in race number 5. We're here in race number 4, 2023 in this track, Jake. It's in your home country. This is your backyard. There's so many great corners at this track, whether it's the really fast Maggots Beckett section into the hangar straight, whether it's the Cops corner, super fast off of a nice straight as well. There's a lot to look forward to, and these cars are going to be a handful to drive at almost full throttle in some places.
Oh, they absolutely will. 18 turns here, opened in 1948 after the climax of the Second World War, became a permanent racing circuit and has been the gold standard ever since. You cannot say without a shadow of a doubt just how incredible this circuit is. But the grid is formed, and Eduardo Leo qualified on a soft compound tyre. He is there in prime control with Przemysław Lemonek for Drago Racing alongside. Ben Fuller and Carlos Fenollosa find themselves on road 2 with David Toft in 5th and Simone Maria Martino making sure that Altus Engineering have a great day. Florian Lebigra and Michele Costantini are on road 4, 9th and 10th. Michael Janney for Stormforce Gaming and Matt Emery, your winner from Jerez last time we were on the road. Manuel Cubo Torres and Gail Valero will house row 6 of the grid as we shuffle on back towards the next rows. Daniel Civichavo and Pablo Espes there for Wave Italy. You've got Marcos Nunez for VRS, Jakob Behrens in the IGL Coatings E-Racing car, Jakub Maciejewski and Chabi Rose, Super Chabi, goes from 18th position. 19th belongs to Jacob Reed with Matteo Calistani in 20th, Tamas Simon, Jeffrey Decker, Jan Hoffman and Yar Tyen down the order in 24th position. The last driver is Charlie Sears, who will have work to do. He did not set a time in qualifying. The last 2 drivers are set together by iRacing only as they put themselves in. There are your weather conditions out there. It is ideal for getting yourself in for racing action as they will line up on the Hamilton Straight, getting ready for the fast right, left, right into that section, the arena section out on track. You've got 27 laps to figure this out, and you know that points are coming at a premium. Who is going to put themselves on the top step here today, knowing that this has seen so many amazing moments time and again? Green flag in the air, and let's get ourselves underway. A lightning start by Eduardo Leo as everybody falls into line, looking to try and make that charge through at Abbey into Farm and into the Village Arena section on the brakes. About 4th and 5th, you can see David Toff trying to bang that one around the outside, and if he can manage the inside here, heading towards Aintree Corner, he's got the Wellington Straight fully to advantage, Kenneth.
Toff second in points coming into this afternoon's race, and he'll get the best of Simone Maria Martino, but he'll be under fire by last week's winner, Florian Lebigra. Multiple drivers in the field going almost 3 or so wide, heading into this second sector at Silverstone, and 1 car around. That's Martino down through the order. The 27 car in trouble. Lap 1, it's a harmless spin, but that is all the track position lost for the Altus Engineering car.
And crucially, that was contact with the championship leader. So that is a huge moment for Simone Maria Martino. The man from Sicily finds himself then right down at the back of the field with work to do. Leo leads, Lemonek in second, Ben Fuller in 3rd position. There's 1 car who's just found himself out of the race. That is Pablo Espes then of the Wave Italy team who's there out. But look at how they're going to attack. The entire race is centered around this section here on the hangar straight and in towards Stowe Corner.
And it looks like for Pablo Espes in the 5, that was a problem going into Cop's corner. Found himself into the barrier, so might just be, Jake, our first DNF of the afternoon here from Silverstone. And this is a fantastic start for Eduardo Leo on the number 23. He's a driver that desperately needs points, has been trying to rebound from early struggles in the season, and so far holding on to the field quite nicely. Really tight section here. Przemysław Lemonek not too far away. Ben Fuller and company. It looks like top 3 have sort of separated themselves, Jake, in this first lap or two.
Yes, but they are going to start coming back together. And Joey, this is what's really crucial. That soft compound tyre is like driving with feta cheese underneath you, because it's really, really good for about a lap, and then that tyre you're nursing for the rest of the stint.
That's what we're going to have to pay attention to, is where is that fall off? Where does it plateau off? Because you're right. Right now, it is good. It's super fast, but eventually it will start to overheat. The time, that speed will die off.
Well, this is where it all starts on the opening couple of laps. So this is what happened then in the beginning. This is Florian Lebigra then, and Maria Marcheno, and it looks like the back just losing that grip, and that's how quickly, snap, it goes around for Simone. Not much you can do about that, Pablo. Espes then here, Kenneth, finding himself in the middle of the group, and as he rounds himself over towards Cop's corner, that is an incredible moment that he found himself in, and that is just the car getting loose. They're right behind someone else, and there is the look down at the bottom of the screen. Eduardo Leo is finding himself now under more and more duress.
Yeah, and for Pablo Espes, they're really tough. Just got into the rear wing of the car right in front and immediately lost control. And for Simone Maria Marcheno, certainly a self-spin there. It's something that we've seen be pretty common over the course of this season. Here's the battle for the lead. Leo and Lemonek going at it through the corner. Lemonek might have the advantage, but Leo will take control. Ben Fuller looks under. He tries 3 wide, gets the door shut.
No room to go. Lemonek around the outside at Brooklands, heading to Luffield corner. He's got the inside line for it, and Leo still trying to hold with some form of power, but he's not got enough there. Przemysław Lemonek through the point, but he'll have to go defensive here towards Cop's corner. This is brilliant stuff right now. Round the outside of Cop's, trying to find the angle. It's not there. Runs a little bit wide. Magnussen Beckett, Joey, we now go pretty much now finally to line astern.
That was a great move from Lemonek to grab away that lead spot. And now if you are Eduardo Leo, you have got to be careful. You got to close the floodgates before they open, because Ben Fuller is already in the draft as they serpentine down the hangar straight. You see him have to go defensive. He hangs on to the second place, but for how long?
Well, it's going to be a case of waiting. Przemysław Lemonek watches behind Ben Fuller, and the Apex Racing UK car cannot find a way through. The Apex Racing team machine has work to do to find that pass, and Lemonek now has to make hay while the sun shines, build a gap. He's trying to weave about here, Kenneth, on this straight. He's trying to break toe.
He is, but he can't really get away. Once you get within half a second with these Dallara IRO1s, it is practically impossible to find yourself away from the other competition, as Leo makes a diving move to the inside of Lemonek for the race lead, and he's got it. Quick move, but Lemonek might have a chance at redemption here. He'll have the outside in the next corner, and Leo back to the front, but could cause some concerns with these soft tires. He's having to push, Jake, quite early.
And the group now swells to 7 large. Lebigra on the back, Michele Costantini, David Toth, Carlos Fenollosa, all there. Second group, 1.7 back, led by Manuel Cubo Torres. Right now is trying to get the chase. There are your top 2 right now on the bottom of your screen, Eduardo Leo and Przemysław Lemonek. Look at the focus of the pair of them, Joey.
You got to give credit where credit is due. Eduardo Leo on those softer tires, he is taking it back here, and it's just something else to watch because he is on the worst off of the tires. He goes defensive down the hangar straight, but lap 4, he's holding back the whole pack. How long can he do it for? Because the more he does, the better off he does.
Oh, what a move, what a lunge by Przemysław Lemonek. Sold the dummy, got it sorted, and all of a sudden, look at Ben Fuller, look on the inside, Carlos Fenollosa picks his pocket at the veil.
Well, it's just a product of this racing, Jake. As soon as everybody continues to go side by side, it's going to create an accordion effect. You're going to see everybody start to come into the fray, and now that brings in Fenollosa, brings in David Toth, Michele Costantini, all the drivers who are hanging around the back end of the top 5. Now they're having a shot at potential podium. We're side by side, 2 rows deep. Leo and Lemonnick back to the corner for the lead.
Wow, this is incredible stuff right now. And again, the inside is procured. This is lap 5 of what has been an incredible start to this race. And Eduardo Leo still finds himself there in second, but he can't get back into line through Woodcote Corner, past the old pit, and over towards that section. He finally gets a great run, and will be on the outside here for Pops Corner. Ben Fuller's been balked about 6 times over the course of this race, and he still knows that he's got a long way to go. And I think sensible heads are going to have to prevail if they want to win this one. And Joey, I would say now is the time to talk about race information, because it's going to be about strategy at around the halfway stage.
Well, we are on lap 5 of 27 as another big block from Lemonnick, but 27 laps is what everybody's going to do today. Pit lane time 24 seconds, so a very long pit lane as Ben Fuller. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, Eduardo Leo's got a slow down penalty, so that's why Ben Fuller goes through. That's why Fenollosa goes through. That's crucial. But talk about those tyres, Joey, because there's 2 different strategies, and Leo's on none of them.
Yeah, he's on the soft. You do have to change the compounds of tires, so you can't stick on the same compound in the big iconic point. Lap 17, that's all the further you can go on a tank of gas. But with lap 11, that I think is when you're going to see that pit window start to open.
Eduardo Leo in 4th position, that gap opening up now to the top 3. You can see he's got the red walled soft compound tyre, the only driver in the field who started the race on those. Almost everybody else inside the top 13 is on the medium compound tyre. Chabi Rose is the first of those on the white walled hard compound tyre. So there is work to do in terms of this field for those a little bit further back as they go forward and push. But Ben Fuller, number 55, is looking for the driver in P1 with the double ones on the car. Przemysław Lemonnick there, the Polish driver for Drago Esports, finds himself right now at the front of a very important field.
And for Fuller here, right behind Lemonnick, he played his cards perfectly when he saw Eduardo Leo and Lemonnick go at it for the lead multiple times. And while he did have to fend off Carlos Fenollosa for the spot, he's starting to methodically work his way forward. And for Fuller, he's looking for his first top 5, Jake, all season long. His best finish of the year came at Texas Motor Speedway last week in 6th place. So for Fuller, he's desperately needing to grab top 5s and top 3s as we ride on board with the Spaniard Fenollosa, who's trying to grab his season back by the scuff of his neck. 2 DNFs and a 12th place finish at Texas. He's looking to rebound, and the entire field crunches up at this part, top 5.
I'd say this is an 18-car race for the race lead at this moment in time. Look at it! Gap is there, 6 seconds splitting the top 18. That's an average of 1/3 of a second between everybody.
It's extremely closely packed, and I think the one that I'm really drawn to is in 5th place right now, Florian Lebigra. Remember, he's the only one that's got 2 wins on the championship so far. So a couple of these drivers, while they're trying to put their foot down in the championship, drivers like Carlos Fenollosa here, they're trying to claw back.
They are, and this is an important race for Carlos Fenollosa, because this is effectively, from here, must drive impeccably from now to the end of the season to have any hopes of championship allure and grandeur at this point. On the hanger straight, Ben Fuller pulls over to the inside, gets out the slipstream, not much there. There is Super Chabi Rose, who's looking to try and make a pass on Jakob Behrens. This, the 13th position, the IGL Coatings iRacing car is holding itself in a very strong position. Chabi Rose with the look to the inside. It's not quite there, but someone like Chabi Rose here, Kenneth, is going to get better the later on this race goes when there's a much better tyre available.
Yeah, the Barcelona native certainly has proven himself on these road courses. Remember Spa, the opening race of the season, we saw a lot of magnificent stuff out of Rose, and as he gets backed up a bit by Jakob Behrens in the 90, he'll take that 13th spot, a commanding entry to the corner, and he'll get the pass done, but Behrens with the crossover Xavi Ros, I mean, we've seen so many great stuff out of him so far this season, but the last couple of weeks he's been on sort of a slide to the negative direction, but maybe this could be the changer if he proves himself this afternoon. He continues this fight with Parents, contact, and Ros is around.
Oh, he's going to come straight back across the circuit, which very nearly clatters out the Veloce Vex car of Tamas Shimon and the BS competition car then of Yartayan. That could have been disaster. Speaking of disaster, Ben Fuller now back into third. Feniosa is running the gauntlet and getting that one done on the Wellington straight, which is making that fantastic. Look at them run with the high downforce that they run through Maggots, Beckett's, through the Chapel Corner and onto the hangar straight. Eduardo Leo is a cork in the bottle and everybody's trying to get by. Here goes second in the championship. Let's go 3 wide. McKelly to the point.
That was an amazing move from Michele Costantini here, and now it really gets stacked up as they enter the final chicane. 2 wide, a little bit further back. That's Manuel Cubo Torres getting his nose in there.
And just like that, Labigra goes through. Leo's got no traction off the exit of the corner. Gianni's found a way through. Emery now for Veloce Vex. Gael Valero will have the inside here through Abbey Corner. And now also Stormforce Gaming. In comes Jakob Behrens then. He'll be the first to make a stop on lap 9. He goes through and round goes Eduardo Leo. His time is done, Kenneth, at front.
That was absolutely detrimental for Eduardo Leo, who started this race up front on the red-walled softs, and it was a risk that he thought was worth taking, but his tires are absolutely smoked. He drops position to 18th place, and I'm not sure how exactly, Jake, he's going to try and recover this race. Strategy-wise, he's going to be so far back on track position, and he's going to have the worst tire to hold on to for the next couple of laps. Everybody else on medium and hards. Leo with that risk, not getting the reward this time.
Joey, he was just on the limit of those soft tyres. Lap 9, lap 10. He's having to get to lap 10 because that's how long the tank lasts. 17 laps worth of fuel. He was basically clinging on for dear life. And the moment he was shuffled out, he basically had no tyre to put anything down.
Well, and he has hyper-heated those tires. He has spun 3 times now just trying to get the thing pointed straight. And we were wondering when that plateau was going to be for those soft tires. Unfortunately, Eduardo Leo found it at the side of the road.
They're completely flat, apparently we're hearing, as he goes through. So he'll have double punctures trying to get back to the pits. And it's not often that you see punctures, but punctures are there on the soft tyres. They did not last because, Kenneth, you look around this circuit as they head your leading trio up into the arena section once again. This is a high degradation circuit. It is not uncommon to see punctures around this track because it is basically pancake flat.
It's very common to see a lot of these punctures, and you made a fantastic point. At many other tracks in this schedule, you're going to have at least some sort of semblance of elevation change, but here at Silverstone, everything is flat. You don't have any type of banking to help you whatsoever, and for Eduardo Leo, he spun another time, has dropped back to 24th, finally ends up on pit road, but that was a lap that he would like to forget tenfold as we ride on board with Ben Fuller right behind the top 2, and there's Eduardo Leo that dashes on both rear tires. Leo in at lap 10.
I tell you what, Ben Fuller has enough time to chew his gum as he focuses through. It's getting busy there, just in the background, 9th and 10th. Emery and Valero there were changing positions, but here comes Ben Fuller to the outside, but he's finding out what's making that overtake so difficult. Przemysław Lemonet getting the draft now from Feniosa, who has moved up to the race lead now and has control of the field. The issue that you've got is if you step out of line here, Joey, you're just going to get met by a massive wall of air. These cars punch a fantastic hole through the air.
And they're doing almost 200 miles an hour down the hangar straight. But something I'm noticing out of Ben Fuller, he does take a look, and while he doesn't make that move on the late braking zone, I think he might be just trying to save a little bit of fuel, maybe trying to shorten his pit stop when he does have to come in for that stop.
Yeah, it's very much a thinking game from Ben Fuller. He knows how important it is. On the bottom of your screen, look at how it stacks up. Behind Matt Emery for 10th position. Daniel Sivishaba, the Hungarian. Marcos Nunez there for VRS. Maciejewski's in there. Yartai and Tamas Shimon. They're all there. These are the minor points playing positions. And you would say at this point in time, Kenneth, every little point helps in this scenario.
It does, especially in the midfield. And you think about the context of each driver. Sibishabo's worst finish this season has been 14th. Yartayan came off of a podium at Texas the week prior. Matt Emery has won a race, but he fell one lap down at Texas at the Oval 1 week ago. Just a bunch of drivers. Maciejewski, who got spun, and near the end of that Texas race, he's looking for somewhat of a rebound after finishing 13th. There's so many points on the line, and these drivers might just look at it as season necessary points, because if they don't get it, Jake, they're probably going to be floating off beneath the top 12 as here comes Sibishabo, a dive on the inside of the Veloce Vex car of Matt Emery, and he's got it, pass complete for the top 10.
Przemysław Lemonet, the driver with the fastest lap bonus point, is in. Toth is in. Lebigre is in. They are all going to make the same choice. Lap 11 to lap 12, they will make the call to dive in, and they will try and go 15 laps on presumably a set of hard tyres to get themselves over to the end. That leaves Fenollosa and Fuller then at the front of the field. But what work has been done? You can see the gaps between drivers on the timing tower on your screen right now here, Joey. What work by Costantini and Manuel Kubo Torres to put themselves in range of the lead.
Well, especially Torres back there in the 4th place position. Now, we did just have a couple come down to pit road, so he has leapfrogged up, but you're right, they are still in this draft train for the lead pack. And just as that graphic was showing that we had on screen earlier, lap 11 is when that pit window opens. I was looking, Jakub Maciejewski, Kenneth was talking about him a little bit earlier. He is one of the first cars on that harder tire. That's the option B. That's when the pit window is going to open here in a couple laps for those drivers. So I think between now and probably lap 15 or so, pit road is going to be a busy place.
It is, and you have to remember back to Jerez, Kenneth, when Jakub Maciejewski made that call and he got up as high as 6th place.
Yeah, and it definitely worked out for him as here comes Ben Fuller. Look for the lead, and it's an easy overtake on Fenollosa, who didn't give him that much resistance, but Fuller instead went to pit road. So I guess wanted that pass, wanted the clean air, but decided to make the strategy call anyway. But for sure, Maciejewski and company, even Yartayan, all of them on the hard tires, will look for them to try and overextend this run as much as they can, as here are more drivers coming in. Simone Maria Marcino, Matt Emery for Veloce Vex. And it looks like a couple of others as well have found their way in. Pivotal pit stops at around halfway.
They are, because how good has the tyre and fuel strategies have been? Is it going to be over or undercut for Ben Fuller, who's been in the lane? 8.1 seconds we saw, as now there is your leading two, Fenollosa and Costantini. It looks like Lemonet's got out ahead of Ben Fuller, which is crucial in terms of that strategy. But Fenollosa, he lost the apex, Joey. He lost the corner as Ben Fuller came into the pits. And all of a sudden, he's realizing it's the other apex car he's got to worry about. He's got to worry about the Italian.
Yeah, Costantini is right underneath the rear wing as we head off into Copse, into one of the coolest areas in all of motorsports, especially through these cars. Maggots and Beckett's through these super fast corners, just using all of that downforce, all of the grip, and all of the 20,000 RPM now to rocket down the hanger straight.
And here comes Michele having a look. He'll have to go to the outside to try and find that overtake. Doesn't find the angle, but might get drive off the exit. Eduardo Leo, down in 24th position, takes the fastest lap bonus point. In they come. 1, 2, 3, all diving. They've got to be careful about that line and running into the back. 5 of the top 5 come in. Marcos Nunez stays out. The hard compound tyre runners are still out there on circuit, led by Marcos Nunez at this point, Kenneth.
Yeah, no surprise that the hard tire cars are going to stay out a little longer. They know what they have. They know they have that longevity, so why not use it to your advantage? And here we take a look at Przemysław Lemonek in the 11, who's moved up to 13th. Remember, he switched over to the hard compound tires to signify the end of the strategy for him. Now here come the leaders coming out. Fenollosa will come out right behind Lemonek, and a fantastic call by Przemysław will get him out front by around 1.5 seconds over Fenollosa and Fuller going side by side.
And that's exactly what Ben Fuller did and won. They almost make contact front to rear as they come off of the loop and over through Aintree corner. Just like that, Ben Fuller goes from attack to defense as Fenollosa will now strike back. He's on cold tyres though. Keep an eye out on that, and he can't hold the line around the outside. Fuller holds on, but look at what it costs him in terms of time. 2 seconds.
Yeah, Costantini is right on the back bumper once again. So even though that these three are definitely still locked in that battle, you guys are right. Lemonnick just executed the pit stop strategy to perfection, has run away by 2 seconds.
2 seconds to the good. I wonder how much of that, when you're looking at Kenneth, might be an underfuel by Przemysław Lemonnick, and he's going to have to hold that the same way Florian Lebigra did at Spa.
100%. And for Lemonnick, I was looking at the times in the box. 6.9 seconds for car 11. Everybody else at around 7 to 8 seconds total. So it might have just been a tad bit of underfueling for Lemonnick, giving him that extra advantage. And what else it's going to do, Jake? It's going to get that car a little bit lighter towards the end of the race, which means he can charge for that fastest lap point. He had it earlier in this race. It was stolen by Eduardo Leo. Recently, Lemonnick can take it back, have good track position, and be able to steal as many points as possible here from Silverstone.
The important driver here is 16. Daniel Sivi-Chabo comes out of the pits then, and he will fall up right behind Matt Emery. There is your championship leader, the man from Bordeaux in France. It's Florian Lebigra, who now finds himself right in the midst of all of this, trying to get past Manuel Cubo Torres in the STK gaming car. He'll have a look to the inside, but he wisely backs out of it, but at the second phase, pushes to the outside. Now he's going to have to really ratchet on the power. How early can he push? Oh, that's absolutely brilliant by Florian. Number 2 is proving why he's number 1 at this moment, Joey, in the standings.
And unfortunately, he's on the wrong side of the racetrack. Let's see, too wide through Copse, and he manages to hang on through the outside. Folks, that was 185 miles an hour flat out side by side, and now he moves up into that 12th place position. Go chase down the 41 of David Toth that's right in front of him. And even though it reflects as 12th place, he will move up about a handful once these lead cars come in.
He is absolutely fearless, and that was world class by Florian Lebigra over there at Copse Corner. In comes by Jacob Reed and Xavi Rose. So they're both in the pits looking to make their stops, get themselves onto a set of mediums, out and away again. But every single lap is going to be crucial right now, and Michele Costantini, after making that pass on Carlos Fenollosa, is going to have to scrap with the Altus Engineering driver and really have to play rear gunner to Ben Fuller, who's going to have to get the hurry up going to chase down Przemysław Lemonnick, who's at the front of the field in the Drago Racing car in terms of those who have made a pit stop so far. 4 yet to come down in. Well, technically 5 with Jan Hoffman there in the Vortex Sim Racing car in 19th, but these front 4 are all going to be pretty much on focus mode at this moment in time. Every single moment of this race is gearing up to their final 12 laps, which they will take, Kenneth, like 12 qualifying laps, like a certain Nigel Mansell.
And in this case as well, you look at some of the drivers on this strategy, Maciejewski, Nunez, Tyan. I mean, look at what Tyan did last week at Texas, where he stayed out as long as possible with a large group of cars. They were able to fully overcut the drivers that pitted earlier in the race, and here they come again without Tamas Shimon for Veloce Vex. The 9 car will stay out. Nunez, Maciejewski, and Tyan will come in together. And this looks like a change to the medium tires. They've been on the hards for this long, 17 laps. So to get a softer compound definitely will help as they will head into the pit lane. It looks like Lemonnick still a bit of a charge to take over the race lead, and Tamas Shimon will hold out up front.
Tamas Shimon driving in VR is out at the front of this field. Everyone has their own different choices, but as the drivers who made their pit stops come out, Marcos Nunez is not a million miles away here from the group that is second in this one at this point, or third, you would say, on back at this point in time. That group is very much with a chance of victory here today. Nunez, Jarl Tyan, they both could make progress onto that pack. They've just got to chase down a gap of 1.6 seconds. Not impossible at this point. Fuller, leading this group in 3rd place, will know how important it is to continue to bring those points into play. But look at how that gap has opened out. Przemysław Lemonnick is going full bore at this moment in time, Joey. That gap's now 3.5 seconds.
Well, Lemonnick is in another league right now. He is checked out. He's pretty much a full corner down the road. And you're right, Ben Fuller is the lead of this second group. Now, this is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, all kind of bunched up into one spot. So I think that Ben Fuller's going to have a mirror full of at least 1 car, probably 5, the whole rest of the race.
And in comes Tam Ashimon then from the race lead, which should cycle out the number 11, Przemysław Lemonek, into race leading and potentially a race winning position at this point. There is the Veloce Vex car making his way, transiting down the lane to box garage number 22, taking his stop and getting back out and away again come the end. 7.1 seconds stationary there, so he's definitely saved a lot of fuel over that stint, trying to get back out and away again. And he's going to be behind all of that group as Feniosa still looks for chase there in the Altus Engineering car, knowing that Simone Maria Marchena was around on lap 1, so having to pretty much toe the line for Altus at this point, Kenneth.
Well, for Feniosa, it's really interesting here because he's caught in that Apex Racing team sandwich. And like you mentioned there, with what happened to Martino, he needs to be pinpoint accurate in where he puts this race car, because one thing we really haven't talked about is the margin of error that's very minuscule here at Silverstone. We've seen so many drivers go around just because the racing surface is so narrow and you don't have a lot of runoff more often than not. Feniosa going at it with Costantini, who had to keep that race car straight, did a wheelman effort to keep it collected. But for Feniosa, has to really tiptoe around the field. It's currently in front and behind him. Wants to make sure that he can hold on to this spot.
Michele Costantini's lucky he's still got suspension in this race. That was incredibly close in terms of how they go forward and how they charge. You still got there Xavi Rose. This is 13th on back. These are the final points paying positions right now. Rose, Emery, Daniel Sivishabo, they're all out there. They're all trying to make something of it. And they know that in a race like this, which is so close like it is at this moment in time, everybody racing as aggressively as they are at this moment is going to mean that they are going to get opportunities later on, Joey.
Every point matters. We're only at round 4 of this championship, so you're still kind of climbing up the hill right now. So you're right, grab every single point that you can. But even this battle right here, they are closing it in, even to Tomas Simone up there in 11th place. Michael Janney is not too far up the road, and really, you look between that, we're up to one long conveyor belt again from Ben Fuller all the way back to Jakub Maciejewski.
And the crucial thing in this group is you've got the championship leader right behind the driver, second overall, as they serpentine, looking for a line at Brooklands, Kenneth.
They're trying their best, and they're side by side right behind Lebigra. Really close action between Manuel Cubo Torres and Marcos Nunez, the two drivers, 7 and 6 going at it. But yeah, you see exactly how close this group is, and Florian Lebigra trying to remain in the championship lead. He's going to have to do a little more work here for sure in the next 9 or so laps, and they're starting to swivel all around the course. They head to the Maggots and Beckett section after the straight there, after the Cops corner. And man, it's really close. Lebigra is going to have some pressure by Marcos Nunez, and there's the race for 11th on the bottom end of your screen.
Marcos Nunez here is the drive to keep an eye out on. Remember, he's on the fresher tyres and a better compound to boot on the medium, so he's able to jump through and do so fantastically. Fantastic scrapping down at the bottom as the Veloce Vex car there of Matt Emery finds himself there. Dive into the pits wide, don't we? Goes Xavi Rose, so he jumps out of that group and makes a stop, and that a real shame for him in terms of how he goes through, because he's got a black flag for a penalty. That's disastrous. Here's a look from Feniosa though, going for second position, makes the power move with contact, and Ben Fuller gets shufted to one side.
Yeah, Feniosa is going to drift out a little bit wide, but thankfully he can put the power down, scoot away from Ben Fuller, who you said just kind of got elbowed out a little bit wide. I've been waiting for this move to happen for a handful of laps now. I really feel like Carlos Feniosa was just kind of hanging out behind Ben Fuller, who's going to try to take this chase up to Lemonek. 4.5 seconds up the road, 8 laps to go. I don't think they're going to catch him.
I don't think they are. They're going to have to hope that the fuel gods are going to say no to Przemysław Lemonek, who has pulled a rabbit out of the hat with the way he's got. Nunez with a look then at Cops corner. He's not going to quite get that one done then on David Toth, which would have been an important move for position. Everybody now sat in line wants to be where Ben Fuller is at the moment and Carlos Feniosa is in 3rd and 2nd positions respectively. Those two drivers have a lot of work to do in terms of keeping everybody back, and they're playing rough shot here by half having those attempts. Nunez just behind there with an almighty move on David Toth. There's the Hungarian in the Arnash competition machine, and he watches in front as Ben Fuller makes the pass through the Vale and into Club Corner to end out another crucial lap. But look at that, side by side, they almost tangle. What a save!
Feniosa, how did he keep that cars straight. He looked for the crossover out of the chicane, and it almost worked. But now he's got Costantini right in front of them. The two Apex Racing machines are in front, and what is that going to do, Jake? Stack up everybody behind them. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 cars all in this group stacking up. And I was going to say how they didn't want to replicate exactly what happened prior to the round of stops. Well, it's happened all over again. Fenollosa with a look to the inside, and Costantini with a crossover.
Well, he's going to have to double crossover. Look out on the inside. Where did you come from? What an almightily opportunistic move from Marcos Nunez. He has done an incredible job of getting that pass, and Michele Costantini never saw it coming. Side by side through Cop's corner, Jarl Tyen is making great moves. He's up to 4.
Both Nunez and Tyen, they started just a handful of corners ago, down probably 4 or 5 positions, and now they find themselves chasing.
Oh my word, Florian Lebigra's around. Championship leaders around.
You know, this is interesting because I was noticing Florian was really falling back through this pack. I was wondering if he had the outright pace, or maybe there was a problem with the car.
Yeah, Maciejewski out of the race. There goes Tamas Simon with terminal damage. So he's gone as well. An almighty checkup going through. Beckett's into Chapel. And just like that, championship changes. Gail Valera's got to come in. He's got the black flag saying he's got too many incident points. This is an incredible moment in this championship. It flips on a dime again, Kenneth.
Lebigra's going to lose that championship lead a dime a dozen with this incident as they stacked up heading into Beckett's, and that's exactly the same thing, Jake, that happened to Pablo Espes earlier in this race, where he got right into the back end of a driver, went immediately around, and that took him out of the event. For Florian Lebigra, he's going to have to limp his car to pit road. This is absolutely tremendous stuff in the championship fight, Jake.
Yeah, as Nunez makes the move, let's just dissect that last lap. Here's the first thing. This is a save and a half from Carlos Fenollosa. He's done so well to keep himself in. He gets aggressive here with Ben Fuller, attacks him through club corner, which is very difficult to do. They make tyre-to-tyre contact, but the torque saves him as he dives it through and dices his way about it. Absolutely sensational save. But it is crucial. Florian Lebigra out with Tamas Simon, with Jakub Maciejewski. Well, Lebigra's still going in 13th position, but he's dropped a lot of points, as now it looks like there's Jarl Tyen, the Boro Sud machine from Bavaria. The Norwegian behind the wheel is looking for a podium right now.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen here with Ben Fuller, because Jarl Tyen here, who's chasing him, he is on those yellow medium tires. Remember, that's going to provide a little bit more grip. That's how Marcos Nunez and Tyen just were able to charge their way up through this pack. And if you're Ben Fuller, you better look out, because here comes Jarl down the inside, at least with the nose, but a nice defense from the 55.
Well, you have to say with Ben Fuller, he's been in contentions for so long, it's not gone well. Let's take a look at what happened to your championship leader, Florian Lebigra. They go through the S's right and left. You can see they start stacking up here, too wide, and just as they hit the brakes, oh, it's a chain reaction. There's no way that Florian Lebigra can stop that. And as they look to funnel back onto circuit, Maciejewski and then Tamas Simon look like they tangle at some point as well. We didn't quite catch that, but they both are out of the race. Look at this to the wall. Jarl Tyen threw on Ben Fuller into third. Point I was trying to make here, Kenneth, was that Ben Fuller has fought for the race lead in every single race this season, yet doesn't have a podium.
He does not. He's been very close, but his best finish is only 6th place. It seems to unravel for him near the very end, but with 5 laps to go, he needs to make sure that he keeps this entire run intact, and we'll see exactly what happened to Jakub Maciejewski right behind this incident. Tries to avoid what happens at Beckett's, and I was mentioning the minuscule margin of error. It happens here, and Maciejewski, the 2nd week in a row that he gets involved in a crash. A big hit there as soon as he thought that he was done for in terms of getting around that incident. He had a spin late in the race at Texas last week, and it's an incident this afternoon from Silverstone.
It's blink and you miss it stuff. You can't really fault him for trying to keep that one out of trouble. He just ran out of road, and just like that, Maciejewski's day is done. That gap is clawing down at the front of the field. It's 3.8 seconds now with 4 laps to go. It's got to be a second a lap now for Marcos Nunez to chase this down. There is Jarl Tyen. Wakey, wakey, Jarl. You're there in 3rd position, the number 3 car, Joey.
Well, and Jarl, like you said, is in the final step on that podium, currently chasing down Marcos Nunez. So both of these cars, they're very similar on pace, very similar on their tire strategy as well. So I have a feeling they're going to continue to take chunks out of Lemonnick, but with about 3.5 laps to go, about 4 seconds, I see the gap coming down, Jake. I just don't see him getting the pass done in time.
Well, it was 9/10 of a second last lap, Kenneth, and it has to be a second a lap. So this is very, very close on the limits.
Hey, don't knock Jarl for having that expression. He's focused. He's focused, man. He's right into the top 3, and what a run it's been for him for all time. Look at the turnaround over the first 4 races this season. Top 10, finish at Spa, then a 15th place ahead F, and then a 3rd place at Texas. Might build into a podium this afternoon from Spa, but there's a hefty undertaking you have to have if you're Nunez and Tyen to get to Lemonnick. The gap has decreased to 3.5 seconds, but with 3 to go, is that enough time?
I don't think so anymore, and that could be crucial for Marcos Nunez. There's a change behind for 5th as David Toth looks to bolster his efforts for a championship and game through. There's your leader, though. Przemysław Lemonnick, 3 laps away from finding himself with a huge shot of getting Drago Racing's first major victory in sim racing, and this would be a huge moment for the young team, Joey.
I've been keeping my eye just on the consistency of Lemonnick out there, and really once he's been in clean air, he's been doing high 28s, low 29s this whole time. There has been 0 mistakes from this driver. He is just off in his own world, pretty much in his own session, just turning laps like nobody's even there.
Yeah, and he is gaining so much through the corners. He's got the confidence through the corners. That's where he's making up that gap, and it's 3.6. 8th, 9th, and 10th. It is a Stormforce Gaming sandwich with Veloce Vexed filling. Matt Emery's going to have to try and get himself a way through here against Daniel Sivichabo.
Sivichabo leading this 3-car train, and I'm not sure what Emery's thinking right now. He sees yellow in the front and the back. Stormforce all around. I'm not sure exactly how he's going to try to attack this, but I'm sure that Michael Janney's going to look to get around Emery sooner than later. He wants to join his teammate for a better spot inside the top 10. And Emery, this is a decent outing inside the top 9 for him. And knowing that his teammate in Veloce Vex, Tomasz Simon, is out of this race, Emery's going to try his best to at least pick up the points for that team this time around. 2 to go.
Let's say something incredible right now. Marcos Nunez started this race in 15th, Joey, and Jarl Tyen started in 24th position on the penultimate row of the grid as Matt Emery searches for the hero move but comes up empty.
It's been just kind of big moving from Tyen and Nunez out there, so I'm curious to kind of see what they can do as well as this battle for the 8th place position, see if Emery can do something, and now really late move on the brakes, but covered off by Emery.
There's Michael Janney with arguably an incredible shot of 9th place here, and he wants to get through, help himself to a few more points. The man from Moncton, Maryland is looking for a real opportunity here to make that pass. Doesn't play the games following the slipstream to Cops Corner. He takes the natural line, and he'll now have to set it up. It's the run out of Chapel that's crucial, Kenneth.
You got to be really careful, though, through this sector because it's so narrow and really fast. You're almost going full throttle through all of it, but right out of Chapel, right to the hangar, straight onto this Johnny Walker sign. Got to get all the draft you can, but I'm pretty sure it's going to the favor of Emery. He's getting to the back end of Daniel Sivichabo, not going to unleash a pass quite yet. They're going to have to do a lot of quick work, though, as here's a pass. David Toth looking to the inside. Manuel Kubo Torres, this is for 5th.
That was David Toth very nearly losing his car. Thought he had clearance. He absolutely didn't. He had to cede the room to Manuel Kubo, who did just about everything to take that away. And now, as they race on to this final lap of the race, David Toth has the championship lead in his back pocket, with maybe the exception of a couple drivers who are making great progress. It's consistency that's getting him everything that he possibly wants. They start dancing about, looking for a little bit of slipstream here. Over to the outside, tries Top, the Hungarian, against the Spaniard, Manuel Kubo Torres. But Torres is able to hold that position and do everything he wants to, and then some, as they go through Luffield Corner and over through Woodcote and passing the old start-finish line here on the final lap of this race. It has been all about who has been able to keep a level head when it has been so unpredictable and the pack racing has been so incredible. Side by side through the final chicanes that they go through, and Maggots and Beckett's and into Chapel. Manel Kubo holds, but the hanger straight is the most important section that comes along left. But for Przemysław Lemonek, this is a huge moment in the history, the young history of Drago Racing. For Przemysław, who has been putting everything together and then some. Drago have arrived at Silverstone. Przemysław Lemonek wins round 4.
You know, it felt, Jake, like Przemysław was knocking on the door for so many weeks on end as David Toff is able to beat Manuel Kubo Torres for 5th place, and the Storm Force duo of CB Shabo and Jani will come home inside the top 10, and Matt Emery will actually beat both of them to the line in 8th. But for Lemonek, it felt like he wanted this to come for him in 2021, and it never went his way. His highest finish of 4th 2 years ago, and finally, Jake, Przemysław Lemonek is a Turn Racing Grand Prix iRacing Series winner.
He absolutely deserved that with the way that he drove. It was faultless on his strategy as he put everything together and then some. It is what he could ask for and a dream for a very, very long time. Let's get a look, though, at how everything has stacked itself up after what has been an incredible lot of racing. Przemysław Lemonek, 40 minutes, 33 seconds, takes it by 1.8 over Marcos Nunez, with Jarl Tyen going from the back of the grid to go and get a 3rd place finish. Incredible stuff by the Norwegian. Ben Fuller finds himself on the outside looking in 4th position, with David Toth 5th and Manuel Kubo Torres in 6th position. Carlos Feniosa found himself near the front for the majority of the race. He fell back late to 7th position, with Matt Emery, Michael Jani and Daniel Sivisciarbo. The only team with 2 in the top 10 was Storm Force Gaming. Looking around, Simone Maria Marcheno, what an incredible recovery for him to get 11th place. Those are some big points for him, like Chabi Ross, Michele Costantini, Jacob Reed and Jakob Behrens, 14th and 15th. You look at those drivers just on the outside of the points, they're like Charles Sears, Jan Hoffman, Matteo Calistani, Gail Valero really would have done with some points today. He's not going to come away with any, and it's retirement central here. Florian Labigra, Tamas Simon, Jakub Maciejewski, Eduardo Leo and Pablo Espes, your 25 starters here today with incredible action. Kenneth, we got a chance now to start talking to these drivers, and what an incredible showcase it was from everybody in this field.
It was absolutely monumental to see this race play out the way it did, and it's Przemysław Lemonek, the Hungarian, to victory lane for the very first time. Or Polish, rather, my bad. Apologies there. But Przemysław, I can imagine that this win has felt long overdue. 2021, there were races where you had a lot of pace, and unfortunately, you weren't able to get to the top spot of the podium. Your best finish of 4th in the very last race of the season. But here from Silverstone, it finally comes your way. I have to ask you, how does it feel to finally break free and get a W?
Yeah, it feels really good, you know. Always in 2021 and now at the beginning of this season, I've been struggling to go something different on strategy than others, pit early, pit later, and I was very confident this week that my race pace in clean air is better than anybody else. So I was trying to get into the lead as many times as possible. On stint 1, Eduardo was quite good on his softs, so I couldn't break the draft or anything. But I pit 1 lap earlier than others, and it paid off. Ben was 1 second at the pit exit. I knew that, you know, both the outlap on hards and then every single lap after that needs to be perfect. I've done, I think, 10 laps within a tenth of each other before last few laps just decided not to push because there was no point risking to crash or anything. But I'm really happy that I finally get the win. I think looking good for the championship, and next race, Zandvoort, cool track. Didn't drive it yet on IR01, but I'm sure it will be a lot of fun.
And for this win, I mean, you came into this race top 6 in the point standings, and I have to imagine with how tight everything was over the course of the season and for this race, you're going to have a huge jump going into Zandvoort. And you talked about your excitement for what's going to be a brand new challenge, a brand new track for iRacing. You had to fully rescan it and put out a new version on the sim. So for you, how exciting are you to take this win and push that momentum forward in your chase for a championship?
Yeah, you know, I don't think about chasing the championship at this point. It's race after race. Every time try to maximize the race, not counting the points. Today I won, but I could have DNF'd. You know, this championship is like that, and when you see yourself, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 points behind, you cannot say it's over, because every race is very, very, you know, quite, I wouldn't say random, but it's, everything can happen. So I'm happy to have points now. Will I have the same position in the championship at the end? I hope so, but I don't know. Race by race, try to maximize the results.
Taking it one by one to try and go for the 2023 championship. It's your first career W in this series. I'm sure that it means a lot. Przemysław, we certainly appreciate the time. Want to apologize for calling you Hungarian. I don't know why I had that in my brain. Polish driver, but nonetheless, we appreciate the time. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you at Zandvoort next week.
See you.
That's Przemysław Lemenek, who comes away with the win in the first time in his career. We'll bring in Marcos Nunez. For the first time, I believe this entire season, he ends up on the podium. And Marcos, I mean, the strategy ended up in your favor. You and Jarl Tyen just absolutely punched your way through the top part of the field. What was that like, and what does it feel like to get a top 3 for the first time this season?
Yeah, actually, it is the second time because
I apologize.
Finished
Lord, it's been a little off for me today.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the team, about going hard, medium hard, soft hard, like every strategy could work if done properly. I risked it because I thought that with the medium, maybe I was in trouble in the race. So at the last second, I decided to go with the hard tire. And I did a good quali lap and I started in P15. At the beginning, we have a bit of trouble with a back market that didn't let us by, and we lost 3 seconds, I think. But we cashed the group again, and when the pit stop come, we put the medium tire and we did a good comeback.
We end up right in that mix with Jarl Tyen at the very end. Did you feel that you were able to maybe do anything to try and catch up to Lemenek, or did you feel that gap was a little too large to overcome in the closing laps?
Nah, I think it was impossible. When I saw the relative, it was like 7 seconds or 8. And I knew it was impossible, but I tried to go for the podium and I got it. So, yeah, I'm very happy with the result, to be honest.
Well, this is a great finish nonetheless. Your second podium, apologies there. But, I mean, able to work the strategy in the right way to get this top 3 finish here from Silverstone. Zandvoort comes the way next. I'm sure you're very excited for that one as you continue to try and build up points. Congratulations on the finish. We'll see you next Thursday.
Thank you. See you all.
Marcos Nunez, second place finisher here from Silverstone, and it is a second straight podium for Jarl Tyen. And Jarl, you had an absolutely insane run near the end. It felt like you were holding no prisoners at all. You were going absolutely for it. Just talk us through the way you were able to aggressively put yourself in that conversation for the top 3 at the end.
Oh yeah, qualifying did not go my way, so it was really to think outside of the box, and that was, you know, starting on hards was the best strategy from my point of view, starting second to last. And yeah, what's critical is to just stay out of trouble and make sure you have the draft for that first stint and keep up with those mediums. And yeah, me, Marcus, and Jacob had great pace on those hards, and we were able to have sadly Jacob had an incident, but me and Marcus at least had a very close gap to the guys up front when we came out of the pits, and we were able to get the draft, and yeah, we just had the pace advantage.
I'm sure that you and your team are definitely buzzing. BS Plus competition with a second straight podium, but you had a top 10 in the first race at Spa, then top 15 at Jerez, and you've been able to have 2 podiums since then. What's been behind the turnaround in this season so far for you?
I think the biggest contributor to that is having 5 really good guys plus an engineer. We are a group of guys that aren't teamed up in terms of like BS competitions, Dragon, that stuff, but we're a group of 5 individuals that decided to work together, and we have an amazing group that the worth ethic is insane. We constantly update on the setup, and we work together to make sure all of us are prepared, and Lemonek in P1, for example, is one of the ones that I work with, and David in P5, for example. So it just proves that we have insane work ethic in terms of pace and consistency.
Well, the hard work is starting to pay off. You're on these 2 podiums you bring in to Zandvoort next week. We certainly appreciate the time. You're all on behalf of our broadcast team. Congratulations on the podium. We'll see you at the brand new Zandvoort next week for round 5.
Thank you so much.
So, Jake Sperry, that's your top 3 all-time with a podium. Marcos Nunez in second, and Przemysław Lemonek taking over the points lead with his first career W.
3 points to the good. Marcos Nunez will be just behind him in terms of the championship. David Toff, his consistency keeps him third overall as they go through. Still, though, you would say the top 10 within a race win at this point, it is still anybody's to play for in terms of this championship. Keep an eye on those 6th and 7th. Ben Fuller and Michele Costantini definitely can make a phase of that. Joey, in terms of where we are next time, this is a crucial race for everyone. It's a technical marvel, the brand new Circuit Zandvoort.
Going to the brand new Circuit Zandvoort, got all the new updates. I can't wait to see what iRacing is really unlocked for us with these Dallara IR01 cars with the new scan and everything. I think it's just going to look great, and I can't wait to see what the racing is going to produce.
1 week from today, October 12th at 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Please join us for that one because we've had a showcase here at Silverstone. It has been ups, it has been downs, it has been all arounds, marauding drives up through the field, and from those a little bit further back, there have been more troubles in terms of where their championship has gone. There may be turbulences, but the Dutch tunes await. Przemysław Lemonek is your championship leader, and everything is coming up Drago.